What's up, everyone? It's Sashi's Bad at Chessy here again, and today we're going to be looking at some of my games from the Keres Memorial, the 48th annual one. I participated in the under 900 section. It is CFC rated. The other rating sections were under 1300, under 1600, I believe under 1800, and I believe Premier. Premier is FIDE and CFC rated. There was a Grandmaster there. There were a couple of other masters, and oh yeah, all the silver sections. There was like a huge race to get to first place, and I finished really close to getting first place in mine. I finished seventh, but I was 1 point away from getting first place, which is pretty sad. But it is what it is. Now I'll share with you the first games. The first round I played is black, next white, black, white, black, and white. And so it was a pretty successful tournament, I'd say. I gained around 120 elo over the board regular. So it was really successful. I really wanted to get second or third place, or maybe even first place, but it's fine. And anyways, this is round one, and my opponent started with e4. I obviously played the Sicilian because this is like the only opening I really studied as black. Well, against e4. Anyways, I used to study the Carl Khan at an early age, but I just never really got into it because the advanced lines were a bit too complicated for me. Knight f3, d6, and here I'm looking at to see if they play d4. I want to transpose into the open Sicilian, or if they play the Alabin, the delayed Alabin, I could go knight f6 here, which would force them to play d3 or something aggressive like e5, which are both not something they wanted to do. They here played bishop c4. This is a move that I have very often encountered in online play. I've never seen this move in an over the board game. And basically, in my analysis on online games, there are three moves that work here: knight c6, knight f6, knight f6, knight c6, and e6. The idea of e6 is that if they go knight g4, e6 blocks. I used to play knight c6 here, but then on high depth, I was told that e6 is the top computer move. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I was told. I think that the idea of e6 is to prepare to go d5, and so takes you get rid of the e pawn, and it's an open file which you can then castle and put the rook on the e file, so it just breathes fire along this file. But anyway, e6. They castled, of course, which was the idea of playing bishop c4, just quick development. Knight f6, knight c3, bishop e7, d3. Again, all normal moves here. You see, you have a slight edge. This doesn't really mean anything at this level. And bishop e3. By the way, you guys, you might think that just because we're at a like under 900 section, we're not that good. No, that's not true. The people in this section were extremely skilled. The person who finished first place was like clear first place. Like no one was even 1 point within him. They were like half a point, and so they just destroyed the competition. The last round, they just gave up. I think they realized that a draw guarantees them solo first place, so they just made a quick draw down two pawns, and the person gladly accepted for some reason. Bishop e3. Here I missed the critical move d5. I was not looking at this move as I don't really play it. I just wanted to make normal developing moves and get out of the opening unscathed. But now they can play d4 themselves. They played a3. Again, d5 is up for grabs. I played a6 to prepare b5. You know what, 92? You can no longer play d5. Or you can, but it's not much of a move anymore, as you can see here. Played b5. One of the top computer moves. Bishop b3. Bishop d7. And see, out of the opening, black is equalized, if not slightly better. So I got really what I wanted out of the opening, I would say. Knight g3, rook c8, taking advantage of the about to be open c file. Knight a5, attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back. Now c4. This move I was really proud of myself. That was the idea of going knight a5 is to play c4. If they don't take, I was preparing to take myself because then I get the open file. If they do take, I still get the half open C file. They played E5, which was not the right move. Here, knight D5 is the best. I looked at knight D5 for around 5 minutes and decided that knight D5 was not the best approach. I thought that instead of knight D5, knight G4, which was what I played, was better because it attacks the bishop. If I play knight D5, that bishop can move to what was the square? There was something that I was worried about with knight D5, but I know for a fact that I looked at it, and so I decided to do it this way so that. Oh yeah, the idea of knight g4 was that this is attacking the pawn and the bishop at the same time, so the bishop has to defend the pawn, and then I can take, and simplify it into a somewhat endgame like this. They take, I take, and yeah, see, it's still equal in this position. Bishop to c6, and these are all normal moves. Here was a huge shocker. I expected them to just take back. Here you can see him winning. They didn't. The only move that somewhat keeps the advantage was d takes e5, which was what I was thinking. And then I would play a move like knight b3, hitting the rook. But they did this. Here, make no mistake, guys, I spent 10 minutes, which might not seem like a lot to you guys, thinking that, oh, it's just a classical game. 10 minutes isn't that much. 10 minutes was a lot because I had to stay there for 10 minutes on this one position because I knew there was a move and only one move that won for me. And I found it. It was f5. F5 disconnects the bishop. As you can see, the bishop's disconnected. So there's no checkmate threat. It also disconnects the queen's attack on the bishop. So now the pawn's forced to capture. And I win a pawn from takes and queen d5. Was queen d5 the top edge move? It was the only move. Queen d5 setting up checkmate of my own. And yeah, the only way to defend it is to play something like f3 or possibly bringing the queen back. But then I'm not going to trade queens. I'm just going to take the free pawn. So f3. Now the top move here is knight to b3, which I missed. Just took the pawn because I thought if I did any more dilly dally, then they would just play rook e1, safeguard the pawn. So I just took the pawn. Here, bishop c2 equalizes, which they found. Hats off to them. I played g6, and my advantage is kind of gone. So they played queen g5, queen c6. My idea was to just trade down everything and get into a winning rook endgame, or somewhat winning. But Vildor position can save this still. Queen d2, knight b3. This is a. I thought this was a good move because even though it splits up my pawns and they're doubled, I get the open c file as well. I was going to play bishop d5, which is what I did next. Traded queens. This move I thought was good, which is apparently not. I wanted to play rook c7. So that if they take, then I promote the pawn. They didn't. And so I played this here, take takes, here. I gave up this pawn because I really wanted to put my bishop, sorry, here to prevent knight e2. This was my entire idea. Knight e2, here, takes, takes. They put the knight back. And then I can't win. It's just a draw. So here, takes, and messed up on this game. But then here, they messed up. I knew it. I knew I was completely winning here. I knew that there was no way I was gonna lose this endgame, and then I just did that. With 45 minutes on my clock, in a 1.2 evaluation, just threw it all away. Now you might ask yourself, why did you do that? It's pretty simple. I was stupid and touched the pawn. I grabbed the pawn. I grabbed the H pawn. The second I grabbed it, I knew that I had been such a fool. So I just did that after they took. King F7. I offered a draw. They accepted. Because there's no way to really win. I mean, I guess that's one way to blunder it. But they're probably not going to do that. They're probably like going to go like here, here, here. This is just going to be a draw because they have the outside pass pawn and I have the outside pass pawn, and these two pawns cancel out. So yeah, that's how round one ended. Round two was a different matter though. Round two was e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6. I'm playing as white here. Now here I was thinking of two things: either entering the Rossolimo Sicilian or entering the open. I spent about 3 minutes here because well, that was kind of dumb. I should have thought about my opening prep before the game. Then I eventually decided on the open Sicilian. This is what I've never played the Rossolimo in any CFC rated game ever. I've only thought about it like before I've actually played. I always think about playing the Rossolimo, and I get too scared and I don't play it because then I'm just gonna lose the bishop pair and they're probably gonna dominate me. So I played the open Sicilian. This computer is not high depth, that's why it's giving black a slight advantage. The open Sicilian, of course, is the best way to play against Sicilian. They played G6, which looked really dumb to me. This is the well, a way to enter the hyper accelerated dragon is if like playing knight c3. If they play bishop g7, you play bishop e3. They take, and then you take, and that enters the open Sicilian. But I wanted to see if my opponent made a mistake, and so I played the wrong move. Instead of playing d5, I played d takes c5, thinking, oh, they just won the pawn. Nope, nope. They just got it right back. Knight c3. Here I thought I was losing, but I'm still apparently completely fine. The computer's always going to give when a pleasant edge in the Sicilian dragon, or the hyper accelerated dragon for that matter, because the computer is the computer. Bishop g7, queen d3. This was I don't know what I was thinking when I played this move. Yeah, it's still fine. Look, queen d3 is one of the top engine moves. It's the second best move after bishop d2. I'm still hanging on to the hope that my opponent was dumb and like just lose the pawn, but he didn't. So after knight f6 I didn't understand. But bishop d2, knight b4 here is completely winning. Make no mistake. I completely overlooked that. They completely overlooked that. And now here knight b4 is again completely winning. They castled. Did I long castle here? No, I short castled. I short castled because I didn't want to get into a fight. I just didn't want to get into a fight. e5. I was really wanting to draw right now. Like in this game, because my opponent he had like headphones on, and I was really scared that I would like mess this up. He was like really intimidating, and so I just wanted to draw in this game, which is kind of dumb since I drew my last game, rewriting the knight to b3. So basically, what I do is if I don't get a Sicilian position that I've studied before, I turn it into one I've studied before, and I just get a losing position. Like I just rotated the knight to b3 for no reason because that's what happens in a lot of open Sicilians. The knight gets on b3. So yeah, knight and b5, trying to get in the center of the board. Queen to d7. I was actually expecting this move. This was the move I thought they would play. I played f3 because that also happens in a lot of open Sicilians. It's the third computer choice, but that's not the reason I played it. Bishop takes d5 is again the best move. But here I played king h1. I played king h1 for one reason, and that was not to prepare an attack, but I wanted them to blunder this. And then that would be a fork. Hee hee, I win. Of course they didn't blunder. Takes right back. I played c4 here. And just safeguarding the pawn. And we traded the knights. Here I'm slightly better. Bishop c2. And they just blundered a pawn. They just gave me a pawn. So now I'm up a pawn. And it's a pretty good pawn. It's the c pawn, which is right here. They didn't even use the semi-open c file to generate counterplay, by the way. They just played that. And after we traded a few more pieces, and I just have a pleasant edge here. C5, by the way, nice discovery. Takes. Apparently B takes C5 was good, but then I was thinking that they would take it like this, right? So if it is V should zoom, which is not the best. Again, guys, I'm not stockfish. Queen of this, I spent 30 minutes on playing Rook B7. Part of that was going to the washroom and just walking around looking at other boards because I thought this was going to be checkmate, but then I realized this is my only legal move because they just gave up the bishop for no reason, and then they were like really upset at this point. Queen F3, I mean Queen F4, and they just blundered. As you can see, there are three different checkmates in one. I decided to just play this one to be the most insulting. Just checkmate with the bishop they thought would have to capture the bishop on h2. Checkmate them with the only piece that saved my king, just to rub salt in their face. No, I'm just kidding, but still. This is the third round. Here I played the black pieces against someone who was unrated, I believe. Most of the people in this tournament were unrated. Well, in my section, most of them were unrated. Knight f6, bishop f4, guys. The London system. The London. I never thought I would experience playing against this, sorry. E6. I wanted to transpose into a Benoni, which is what I tried to do. They played c3, of course, natural move. Knight c6, knight f3. He was thinking between d5 and taking the pawn. I thought d takes. They took with the knight, which I knew was wrong, but I didn't punish it. I just took back. Took with the e pawn here. I played d5, and this is slightly better for white because I guess of the open d file compared to my open c file. But I just thought after we traded a few pieces and castled, out of the opening, it's completely equal. That's what I noticed about this game after I analyzed it. It's equal. Still equal. Still equal. We're both just playing top computer moves. Like knight takes e5, queen takes, bishop f6. Like every move we're playing is not making a weakness, or every move I'm making is not making a weakness. And it's improving my position slightly. I have the bishop for the knight about here. Queen d3 here. They blundered. They played rook e3, and I just took the pawn. Took the free knight. I thought there was some attack. I spent 15 minutes on taking the knight because I was so scared that there was an attack. Rook g3 looks super scary. Wait, no, not rook g3. Sorry, rook here, and I took the free pawn. Rook g3 again looks really scary, but I realized that my king protects everything. My bishop protects everything, and yeah, here I think they just resigned because they realized that they couldn't play on. So I didn't have to forcefully checkmate them, which was nice. Played white here, e4, c6. This is what I was told by my coach to play. This bishop d3 line. Uh, it's considered an inaccuracy by the computer, which is what they also thought. My opponent, they thought this was an inaccuracy, and here it's equal. That this entire opening is deemed to be equal. And knight g3. Where is it? Here, right? I have this triangular setup, which is losing. I knew out of the opening I got a much worse position. I was not happy with myself in the position I got out of the opening. I was just looking to make a draw this game for the position I got. Queen b3, takes, a5. I played a4. I played bishop c2. I played knight b2. All just playing good moves here. Let's see, it's still equal. Knight c4. bishop b3, knight d6, rook b8, c4. And I thought I thought I lost a pawn with this. Then I realized, uh-oh, spaghetti-o, you lose a piece. So I didn't really lose a pawn, thankfully. Takes, taking some more, and here, where was it? This position, I realized it's a draw. I have a forced draw. I can play this endgame. I can literally make random moves here. And if somebody draw, I decided to reroute the knight over. Like, I don't even care about any move they're making. See, king f2 is necessary here. See, it's the only move that keeps the advantage. King f2 is necessary, or else I win the pawn. Of course, takes, and now a massive series of trades. Here, takes. This endgame I could have played for a win. It was late at night. I didn't really want to, so decided to offer to draw here. They accepted. They actually offered to draw here. I said no for some reason. They just accepted the draw here. Okay, round number 5. 2 rounds to go. Here I was at drew the first one. 1-2. Here I was at 3 out of 4. And if I win the next two, I can probably clinch a top 3. But I told you finish 7th. So this is the Cadle Sicilian. I know that because of this. Or else I would have never heard that name before. And I just played what I do online against this kind of setup, which is putting the bishop on g7. I like to do that with all my Sicilians because I play the dragon. Castles, rook b1. This move I asked them after the game because I felt it was really unnecessary. I think they wanted to prevent queen b6, which is what I was thinking of playing. But I mean, there's no need to do that. a6. Here, we repeated moves twice, and I thought we were going to go for a draw. As you can see, the position is completely equal. We could have. They went bishop e3, f5, which was really aggressive. Rook fe8, takes, knight d5. Here, I only had one good move, which was queen c6. I missed it. And now, white is completely winning. They played bishop d2, which they did. They actually found bishop d2, which was really surprising to me. Just moving the bishop anywhere wins. And here I was really dumb. I was really dumb. I spent, you guys want to know how much time I spent on taking? You want to know? I spent 3 minutes on taking. Which you might think, oh, he thought for a bit. No. I was thinking of what I would do after the rook trade. I was just thinking I would play rook c8 and then it would end in a draw. I did not take time to think. Here, in this position, I spent 40 minutes thinking of the best way to fight back. The only move, I had to play this ugly move, which I didn't even want to play because of f4, which isn't even the top engine move. Your bishop d4 check apparently wins, which I completely missed. And I played takes, and they took back with the bishop. If they took back with the knight, I'm winning, as you guys can see. This is the position that comes up. But now they took with the bishop. If he takes, they gave this check. Lose the queen. Decided to do it this way. And yeah, the end game that follows was actually there was a couple of combinations. You guys noticed I sacrificed the rook. No, I didn't. Just took a free pawn because they take. I go there. I play f6, f4, takes, and should have resigned here. I resigned here. Now I'm officially out of contention for a win, for first, second, and third place for a podium finish. So I decided I'll just do it for the elo. My opponent here was rated 200 points higher than me. because I rated 660 before this tournament. So I decided, let's go all in. E4, E5. As soon as I get E4, E5 on the board, I know that I'm playing this for a win because of my Gioco Pianissimo. And this opening, at the opening, I just got a really pleasant advantage. I felt B4 is the top engine move. I'd play Queen D2, prepare. The entire idea of the Gioco Pianissimo was to eventually play this D4 pawn break, which is what I played for. And eventually I got it, but it went to this kind of endgame. And I'm like, oh shoot, this is going to be a draw. Because we both played at like over 90% accuracy in this game. I was just poking and prodding. They have a slight advantage here. And I was just looking for some way to get in the position. And here, as you can see, the only good move is bishop f7. They found it. And here I'm like, oh no, I'm going to lose. Wait, no I'm not. Wait a minute. No I'm not. The only good move here was bishop e6 check, which is absolutely bonkers. The idea is that you force the king away from this pawn, and you don't let it get to this pawn. They took, which is losing, which is what I counted it, and I took back. I knew I was completely winning here. I marched my king towards the pawn and ate it, and realized, whoops, playing this for a no, dude, really? What was I supposed to play? I was supposed to push any other pawn. And here, you can do something where one pawn freezes all three. But instead, they went here, and then I went here, and then they went here, and I went here, and then they went here, and I went here. I gave up the pawn. I did the fox and the chicken coop technique. Take. I want to eat all the pawns.